Welcome back to The Common Ground. Today we're diving deep into one of the most pressing and complicated conflicts of our time, the ongoing war between Israel, Hamas, and Iran, as well as the broader regional dynamics at play. In this analysis, we'll explore the latest developments, the regional powers involved, and what this conflict means for the Middle East and beyond. Let's get started. The start of the conflict. On October 7, 2023, Hamas launched a shocking and highly coordinated surprise attack on Israel, targeting both civilians and military installations. This was the largest and deadliest attack on Israeli soil in decades. According to The Guardian, Hamas used a combination of rockets, drones, and ground forces to breach Israel's defenses. This attack marked a significant failure of Israeli intelligence and has led to intense military retaliation by Israel, primarily through airstrikes in Gaza. In response, Israel has launched a relentless military campaign in Gaza, aimed at dismantling Hamas's leadership and operational infrastructure. As The Guardian reported, the violence has resulted in catastrophic civilian casualties, with Gaza's infrastructure being decimated, including hospitals, schools, and residential areas. Iran's role and regional implications. A key factor that complicates the conflict is Iran's deep involvement. Iran has long been a supporter of Hamas and other militant groups like Hezbollah, which it sees as part of its axis of resistance against Israel. According to the Institute for the Study of War, or ISW, Iran views itself as a regional power that has a duty to retaliate against Israeli actions, especially after the targeted killing of senior Hamas figures by Israel earlier this year. Iran's influence goes beyond just material support. It is also a diplomatic and ideological backer, which further inflames tensions in the region. As the ISW analysis suggests, Iran may be planning a coordinated drone and missile strike against Israel, which could pull even more regional powers into the conflict. Hezbollah and the Northern Front. The situation becomes even more complicated when considering Hezbollah's involvement. Based in Lebanon, Hezbollah is another Iranian-backed militant group with significant military capabilities. Since the start of the war, Hezbollah has been launching rockets and engaging in skirmishes with Israeli forces along Israel's northern border. According to Reuters, Hezbollah has threatened to escalate its attacks if Israeli operations in Gaza do not stop, opening a dangerous second front in the war. This raises the stakes for Israel, which now finds itself fighting a potential two-front war. As Al Jazeera reports, the possibility of an all-out conflict with Hezbollah could lead to further regional destabilization, especially since Hezbollah's missile arsenal is considered far more advanced than Hamas. Diplomatic efforts and humanitarian concerns. Despite international calls for a ceasefire, diplomatic efforts have largely failed to bring an end to the fighting. Countries like Egypt, Qatar, and the United States have attempted to mediate, but both Israel and Hamas remain entrenched in their positions. According to Just Security, Hamas has rejected ceasefire proposals that do not include terms favorable to its political aims, while Israel is determined to continue its military campaign until Hamas's operational capacity is severely degraded. The humanitarian toll has been devastating. The United Nations has called the situation in Gaza a humanitarian catastrophe, with over 10,000 civilians killed and hundreds of thousands more displaced. Access to food, clean water, and medical supplies is severely limited due to the blockade imposed by Israel, further exacerbating the suffering of Gaza's population. Global and regional implications. The conflict has also caused ripple effects across the region. Countries like Saudi Arabia, which had been inching toward normalizing ties with Israel, have had to recalibrate their positions. According to The Guardian, the normalization process has stalled amid the violence, but long-term, it's likely that these diplomatic efforts will resume once the fighting subsides. Moreover, the U.S. has been a key player in shaping the international response to the conflict. While initially backing Israel's right to defend itself, Washington has faced increasing pressure to push for a ceasefire as civilian casualties mount. This balancing act between supporting an ally and addressing the humanitarian crisis is a challenging one for the Biden administration. Thanks for tuning in to The Common Ground. If you found this analysis helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future updates on this and other important global issues.